Hello and welcome to the video about the writing process. So this is the PowerPoint that we're going to be using. You're just going to click on it and go to it. And I wanted to go over this one because there are some things that I wanted to show you and kind of talk about as I go through it. So let's just jump right in. So the writing process. There are 4 steps in the writing process: pre-writing, drafting, revising, and editing and proofreading. So the first stage of the writing process is pre-writing, and this is when you're going to generate ideas for your essay. And there are tons and tons of ways you can pre-write, and these 3 that I give you, free writing, brainstorming, branching, those are just a few. You can do any kind of pre-writing that you prefer as long as you're pre-writing. So free writing happens when you pick a topic and like you put a timer on your phone and you write or type for 10 to 15 minutes and just without stopping, just sort of word vomit onto the page for that amount of time. And then when the time goes off, then you sort of go back through and pick out what sticks out to you. And then brainstorming is when you choose a topic and make a list of everything that comes to mind about that topic. So you just take out a piece of paper, you like write your topic at the top of it, and then just again sort of word vomit onto the page, or brain vomit, I guess. That's really what pre-writing is just getting your ideas from your head onto paper. And it's really important to do this because stuff that makes sense in your head might not make sense on paper. So that's where you have to make it make sense, right? You can also do branching, which is also called a word web or clustering, which looks like this, where you have like your central idea in the middle and then it branches off into a smaller idea, which branches off into even smaller ones. So you can pre-write like that as well. Here's a handwritten example here. So that's what branching, word web, clustering, whatever looks like. And again, these are not the only ways to pre-write. You can also record yourself on an audio just talking about your topic. You can draw, you can completely outline it like I sort of did for you in the descriptive essay. Anything to get your ideas from your brain onto paper without just starting your essay is pre-writing. Tell you how to do branching. And then we go into drafting. So this is where you put all of that stuff that you vomited onto the page into an essay form. You put it in pretty little MLA format. You add some transitions. You add your topic sentences and thesis statements, which we haven't talked about yet. We'll get there. But this is the part where you're actually writing your essay. And then we get to step 3. Once you have the drafting stage done, you have what's called your rough draft. And then your rough draft, we take it into the revising stage. And this is where you make your essay sound like you want it to sound. And so just make sure that you have enough details. Make sure that these details are clear, that they're concise, which just means that you say them in a way that is not flowery. You don't use flowery language. You get right to the point. You just want to make sure that your essay is clear, that you've got all the details that you wanted to add. It makes sense. It's organized. It reads correctly. In this stage, I really recommend that students read their essays out loud. You can read it to yourself, you can read it to your mom, your dad, your friend, your cat, your dog, doesn't matter. Just read it out loud. Because what happens is when we're reading something silently to ourselves, our brain sort of fills in those gaps because we know what we're trying to say. When we make ourselves read it out loud, that makes your brain go, oh, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't track. So that'll help you really make your essays flow really well, make them make sense, organized and clear. And then we enter the proofreading and editing stage. So this is where we're going to correct all the grammatical errors. It's also where we're going to do pre-writing, or not pre-writing, peer review. So I'll post a how-to peer review video when we get to that stage, but you'll look at least one other person's essay every time except for the descriptive essay. And you're going to go through and I'll have a list of questions for you. You're going to answer those questions to the best of your ability about their essay. Peer review you should take really seriously because it's helping your classmate make a better grade. And I guess you put out what you get what you put out is how we should all look at it, right? If you want someone to be really thorough with you and really help you, you should be willing to do that for somebody else. So take these peer reviews really seriously. During peer review, I will also be looking at your essays and making some comments and suggestions. So you'll get comments from me as well as your peers. So some tips for drafting and pre-writing. Don't worry about grammar, spelling, punctuation, none of that. Just vomit it out, okay? Don't expect it to be perfect the first time. It's super not going to be. When you're proofreading, read your essay out loud. You can also read it backwards and review once for each type of error. So if you know you have a problem with like run-on sentences, read through your essay specifically looking at run-on sentences. And then read through again specifically looking for sentence fragments. And then again looking for commas. So on and so forth. So review once for each type of error, especially if you know you're prone to making an error. So these are our 4 steps in the writing process. We got your pre-writing, drafting, and then revising, editing, and proofreading is all kind of one because it's going to be peer review. So that's what we're looking at. That's what we're going to do for every essay we write in this class. Pre-write, then you're going to write a rough draft, and then we're going to peer review it, and then you're going to fix it again, and then you're going to turn in a final draft. So that's sort of what we're looking at. I will, next week when we actually have peer review, I will make a video on how to do peer review and what I sort of want that to look like. So you will have that information available to you. Let me see. So that pretty much does it for the writing process. It's just those 3-4 parts. So we're going to follow them for every essay we write, and it's all going to go in your portfolio. So make sure you keep a copy of everything you do, the pre-writing, the peer review, final draft. Make sure you keep a copy for yourself somewhere where you can get to it because we're going to need it when we go into the portfolio. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the writing process, you know how to get in touch with me. Reach out, let me know if you need me.